Hey, man, I got about 10 minutes. Anyway, I got about 10 minutes to cover this before I have to clock in for work. But everybody's been at, a lot of people have been asking me, Paramount Piglet, a few others have been asking me to talk about this, and that is the whole, the whole situation of what's going on with the Sonic comics as of today, the 28th of 2017. Well, apparently TSSZ News reported that, well, a lot has been going on, and even if you go to the Sonic Stadium and you go to Tracy Yardling's Twitter page, at least there's some information. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. I'll give you an example. We found out that certain titles have been canceled. Those titles being Sonic the Hedgehog TPB trade paperback number 5 and the Champions graphic novel, the Sonic the Hedgehog Champions graphic novel, have all been canceled. Now, what's interesting about this is they said Sonic 293 has been resolicited. Now, what that means is it's probably being moved to another date, sometimes resolicited, or anything that starts with the RE at the beginning of the word basically means that something has changed, like either the story's changed or something. So it could be, it could be anything involving it could be anything, but it sounds like 293, when it does finally arrive, whenever that may be, is not going to probably be the story we were anticipating. It might be something different. Now, according to Tracy Yardling, they are at least talking, Sega and Archie Comics, and this is the big holdup. It's like, what is going on? Why is it taking so long for this to happen? And my opinion, this is just my opinion on the situation, folks. My opinion is, with Sonic Forces coming out at the end of this year, in the holiday of this year, holiday season that is, and Sonic Mania is supposedly coming out sometime late spring, early summer. My opinion, my honest opinion, I could be wrong, is I think Sega wants Archie Comics to start focusing on hold on for a second. Like I said, I think Sega, I should say, want Archie Comics to start focusing more on that, in that direction, instead of focusing on what they're doing now. We all say that, Sega, we all say that when the comics got softly retconned and everything, they were being more like the games now, or more closely related to the games. I think, honestly, Sega has noticed this. Remember, they have 2 representatives that are always credited at the beginning of each comic. So they probably were informed by this, and they're like, hey, if that's the step in the direction that we would like, then let's take it a step further. And I think that's probably part of the holdup, is they want the comics to be more like the games than they have been recently. And what I mean by more like the games, in other words, you could have Sally, you could have Bunny, you can have Antoine, you can have all of them. But the main focus has to be on the game cast. In other words, let's say a problem let's say the world has to be saved. It's like, for example, like in the finale of the Shattered World, when they had to finally piece the world together, save the world, if you will. It was everybody. It was everybody. Well, there was no Amy Rose, but you kind of get the idea. So, it was everybody. And Sega probably sat up and noticed and said, you know what? If you guys do something like that again, it's the game cast that saves the world, not the non-game cast. That's my My opinion, mate. That's just my opinion as to why I think the comic is being held up. Maybe they're trying to renegotiate or talk some kind of agreement that would see the game cast be the main heroes and the non-game cast, the SAT-AM cast, as a supporting role more than they've ever been. It's like, yeah, you could put them on adventures. Yeah, you could team them up with the game cast and everything. I mean, why do you think the Sonic Universe Freedom Fighters arc, whenever that becomes reality and comes to fruition and is released, why do you think it has the Freedom Fighters each teamed up with a Gamecast character? And I'm sure Archie Comics has brought that up. The people behind the thing have said, hey, look, we got this Freedom Fighters arc, we got these characters teamed up with the Gamecast characters, what more can you ask for? And I think honestly what they want, in my opinion, I think what Sega wants, is my opinion. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm not saying it's true. But I think what Sega wants, maybe, is for the game to be more not the game, but the comics to be more game-oriented than they've ever been. Another thing as well as I think that may be the hold-up as well. That may be the hold-up as well. Now, another thing that may be holding up the release of the comic, or the return of the comic, how do I put this? I think what also is holding up the return of the comic is this certain behind-the-scenes litigations, if you will. Litigations, easy for me to say. Litigations that are holding it up. In other words, there's certain issues that need to be ironed out, not just contractually, but there are certain things that need to be ironed out legally to prevent what's happened in the past several years from happening again. Like, I'm pretty sure Sega wants some kind of agreement that whatever characters are created by any freelance artists or writers, like an Ian Flynn or Tracy Yarden or Ian's wife Aaliyah, that if those characters are created for the comic, that those characters become exclusive to Sega. In other words, once, let's say, Ian Flynn creates a new character, that character becomes property of Sega and the Sonic franchise and no longer belongs to Ian. I'm thinking that's what they're trying to do. They don't want to go through the legal mess that they've done before. So that could be, in my opinion, one of the things that's holding it up. But, when I hear resolicitated and I hear talking, the fact that they're both talking, I will say, I still have a strong feeling the comics are still going to be released. It's just that right now, there was known as a holding pattern. In other words, they're being held in place right now. Right now, like I said, they're in a holding pattern. In other words, there'll be, it's like they're right behind the gates, being, they're like a flight of jets, always flying in the same pattern all the time, which is like a holding pattern. So they basically can't go another direction unless given the orders or unless given the okay. And that's what's going on right now with the comic, is it's in that holding pattern to where they can't really do anything until they get the okay to take it into another direction or to release it. So my honest opinion is I still think the comic's going to be released. You're hearing from Tracy Yarden that he's heard that they're talking, that there's some negotiations going on, there's some things going on. You got a different answer from Aaron, from what I understand, at SXSW, who who was asked a question about the comics, he gave one answer of, hey, I don't know, but then he gives another answer that sounds like he does know, and it sounds like it's a very, I guess you could say, positive answer, but it's more like, yeah, I gotta get going. It's like, yeah, the talking and everything, but that's all they know. So, my honest opinion, folks, is I gotta get to work here. My honest opinion is, and I know I say that a lot in this video, is I believe it's gonna happen. I believe the comic's gonna return. It's gonna be soon. I almost feel like they have a targeted that if things work out, I believe they have a target, in my opinion. And again, like I said, I know I say that a lot here, I do apologize. But in my opinion, I believe they want to have a target release date or return of the comics by at least the end of spring. That's what I'm looking at as a target date. And as far as 293 goes, I can say this. Like I said, when I hear resolicited, it either tells me that the comic's going to be relocated to another release date, or the fact that the story we were going to get is not going to happen and we're going to get something different. So really, that's all I have to say on the situation. Again, these are just my opinions, but I still believe strongly that the comic's going to be returning because it's one of the best selling comics financially, and I don't think Sega wants to refund thousands of dollars, if you will, thousands if not millions of dollars to subscribers who just resubscribed, subscribed for the first time, and are currently in a subscription, money for issues they didn't get. So that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think down below, and I will talk to y'all later, and I'm about to head into work.